Looking back, my journey here was a leap of faith. It's difficult for me to go on my own. There was a lot of fear I wouldn't fit in or even survive.
Pursuing further education in Australia wasn't just a choice. It was a strategic decision for my growth.
Choosing Australia was the right choice. I found myself immersed in a world of diversity. As I explored this beautiful country, I realized that I wasn't just gaining an education. I was gaining a life-changing experience. I've climbed mountains both literally and metaphorically, and I've emerged stronger, more confident, and ready to take on the world.
My journey to Australia was born out of the determination to break free from the limitations of my past. Back home, I struggled to access the advanced education I craved, always feeling like there was more to learn. Here in Australia, I found a platform that not only nurtured my thirst for knowledge, but propelled me toward success.
The real-world exposure I gained through internships was unlike any other, and Bada Global Philippines made sure I had access to every opportunity. They guided me through the challenges, supporting my growth from a determined student to a capable professional.
The education system here is designed to foster critical thinking and practical skills.
Bada Global Philippines recognized my potential and connected me with a university that fit my aspirations.
Having fear to take that first big step is normal, but I'm brave enough to know that I don't have to do this alone. I allow myself to dream big.
I'm brave enough to recognize that there's a bigger future ahead for me and my family, and brave enough to find a partner I trust to realize that future.
With almost 50 offices globally, Bada Global facilitates the dreams and future of individuals that desire to go above and beyond their magnitude of expectations. Multi-awarded with a team of education specialists, the service of Bada Global is unmatched.
Move the unmovable. Shake the unshakable. Be brave enough for big dreams. Be Tatak Bada.
Welcome to CQ University Australia. With a dedication to academic rigour and real-world application, CQ University has consistently achieved outstanding graduate outcomes. Our graduates find employment fast and earn more than the national average. Our community is vibrant and multicultural, with students from all over the world who have consistently placed us well above the Australian university average when it comes to student experience and satisfaction. With 12 campuses across Australia, studying at CQ University is your gateway to exploring some of the world's natural wonders and iconic landmarks while you earn an internationally recognised qualification. As Australia's most inclusive university, we make education accessible to all aspiring learners with our generous scholarships and affordable tuition fees. We offer high-quality education and training in English language, vocational, academic degrees, and world-class research. Our industry-aligned courses are offered through a wide range of study areas. Maximise your job prospects with valuable internships and work placements. CQ University is a leading research university. Make breakthroughs in your field. Study in vibrant, technologically driven and collaborative spaces, including on-site training facilities, library hubs, performance studios, engineering precincts, medical clinics, and aviation hangars. Our dedicated CQU English Language Centres help English language students develop their skills in a supportive and friendly environment with pathways into our degrees. Wherever you're headed, you'll find a course at CQ University that can get you there, with our various other pathway options. Study at a time that is right for you with 3 intakes per year. You can even earn your recognised Australian degree online in your home country at your own pace. CQ University is committed to making a difference and transforming the world through social innovation. You can combine travel and study with our CQU Global Study Abroad programs, or go overseas and study with one of our partner institutions. Our extensive student support ranges from academic advice, career counselling, personal welfare, as well as student leadership programs. Experience the best of education in Australia. Welcome to CQ University, Australia.
All right, welcome to the information session. Study in Australia, get information you need. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining, and for all who came in or logged in early. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let me just see who are the participants today. We have Francis, Glyzel, John, Rebby. There's a guest, 842. Hello, welcome to the session. Shine, Timothy, Vilash. Is that your real name? Okay. Let's see if there are other people attending, but for now, we are officially starting the program. And please make sure that your screen is in full-size view so we can, enjoy and appreciate the presentation deck. Please keep your microphones on mute. You're able to chat in your questions or anything that you'd like to ask in the chat box. Please tell us your name and your location as well. I'm from the Philippines, by the way, and I'm based here in Quezon City. Ayan, sino mga taga QC? Hello. So without further ado, I'm now ready to hand in the screen to our guest speaker for today. She's the International Business Development Manager overseeing the Philippine market. And she will share about what you need to know as you start to explore, or if it's your first time to even learn about studying in Australia. I think this is the best time to get some information, all right? There's nothing that's going to pressure you to do anything after this event, but you're always welcome to reach out if there's anything you'd like to ask. So giving the floor now to Regina. Hi, Regina.
Great. Hello. Thank you, Ms. Monette. Hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Regina Malanes. I'm the International Business Development Manager of Central Queensland University, also known as CQ University, or just CQU for short. I'm originally from the Philippines myself, but have been living in Australia now for more than 2 decades. So probably way before your time for many of our audience here today. A part of my role is to support our international students with their inquiries about CQU, and to also ensure you have a smooth transition to our university. Before I go ahead with my presentation, I just want to say a quick thank you to Bada Philippines for organizing this session for us today. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time today to attend our webinar to hear about CQU's offering and see if we're the right university for you. Studying and moving abroad is one huge investment, so I can really appreciate the fact that you need to seriously consider the best option for you. So like Ms. Monette mentioned, please make sure you send us your questions via the chat box, and we'll answer them during this webinar. So for those who haven't heard about us, CQU was first established as a college in Central Queensland, located in Rockhampton back in 1967, which is 57 years ago. I'm not quite too sure if you could see, but Rockhampton, Ms. Monette, if you don't mind, there you go, just pointing it there. So that's where Rockhampton is, which is in Central Queensland. Hence, our name is Central Queensland University. But over the years, we've expanded across Australia. So you'd be able to see all the red spots there is where CQU is located. That's why rather than saying Central Queensland, we just call ourselves as CQ University, or otherwise CQU. We also gained our university status in 1992, which is great in that regard. Next slide, please. So in today's session, we will answer the most common questions that students ask. To start with, the question is, when choosing to study in Australia, what are important things to consider? Now, in addition to the educational experience, you should also need to consider the location of where you want to study. So at the next slide, with CQU, we started off with one campus to now being Australia's largest regional university with 12 campuses available for international students, including in major cities in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. These are just some of the images of our campuses and our campus environment. So on the top left, you'd be able to see our Sydney campus building. And then on the bottom right is our Brisbane campus building. So they are more of the sky rise, but then you can't really see the top right. That is actually our Rockhampton campus. So Rockhampton is where we're established. So that's where our main campus is situated. We have over 30 academic buildings in Rockhampton. That's why it's really huge. But in saying that, it is in a regional location. So you would be able to see in some of these slides, you could see that there's some kangaroos. And the kangaroos are literally on campus. So that's one of the benefits of studying at a regional location, is because the wildlife is so close to you, and in fact, literally on the ground, on campus. We don't encourage our students to pet the kangaroos or any of the wildlife, because obviously we just want to make sure that you're in a safe distance each time. All right. Well, the benefits of having the 12 campus locations as well available for international students is that students can transfer from one campus to another. So for example, if you do decide to study in Sydney to start with, and maybe you want to discover a different type of lifestyle and move up to Rockhampton, that is a possibility. So you get that benefit, that advantage of having the multiple campuses. Thank you. And Ms. Monette, please feel free to jump in as well if ever there's anything that you also want to add in the conversation as well, okay?
Oh, yes. Actually, I think the slide is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just highlight, just if you notice the weather in Central Queensland. So it's their summertime during December and February, which is quite different from what we're experiencing. Well, not very different from the Philippines, but they do experience the 4 seasons as well in this region. So just noting that for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So so we do have the summer, autumn, winter, and spring. In Australia, well, in the cities, it doesn't snow in the cities. You have to go up into the mountains to be able to see the snow. So yeah, so that's something to consider for sure.
I also appreciate, Regina, that I can see that your campus is also near the airport, the international airport.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, in terms of our campuses in the metropolitan cities, we're literally in the city center. So when it comes to public transport or, you know, trying to get into the campuses, it's so easy because they're just the transportation, the train stations and the bus stops, they're just walking distance from our university. At our Sydney campus, as an example, it's on Kent Street, which is near Darling Harbour. So with Darling Harbour, that is where you're able to catch the ferry. So it's very convenient. The public transportation is also brilliant in Australia. So very accessible if you were to consider studying with us.
Sounds great. Okay, let's move to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about what should you consider, all right, when you're choosing a university in Australia. So Regina, what do we want to highlight here?
Well, the question is, why choose CQU? Okay, so these are just some of the benefits and reasons why students do choose to study with us. Since we're addressing our fellow Filipino students here, a little fun fact is that just over 43% of our Southeast Asian students come from the Philippines. So you can be, so you can be comfortable knowing you have other students from the Philippines who will be on campus with you, which is, another factor to also consider. As I mentioned before, we're Australia's largest regional university, and we're also one of the fastest growing and emerging regional universities in Australia. We're in the top 2% of universities worldwide for graduate employability, and we're also in the top 150 young universities in the world. Employers are very happy with our graduates and have been ranked the best in Queensland for graduate outcomes and full-time employment. I've mentioned earlier about the multiple campuses we have and the benefits of that. We have the graduate guarantee, which I'll go over later. We offer the 10 to 12 weeks internships and work placements at no additional cost. And we find the company for you, as we have over 3,000 industry partners in Australia as well. We have strong student support services, which I'll also expand more on a little bit later. Now at CQU, we have 3 academic terms that you can choose from, starting in March, July, and November. November is usually an optional term, and it's mainly for students who want to finish their degree a little bit sooner by taking 3 terms per year rather than the standard 2 terms per year. Most of our bachelor degrees take 3 years to complete on a full-time study load, so you could potentially finish in 2 years if you want to take the option of taking 3 terms per year. So something to consider. You'll also find that CQU is one of the more affordable universities in Australia, where we offer generous scholarships to all our international students. So this year, we're actually offering 25% scholarships to all of our international students. As long as you meet the course requirement, you'll get that 25% scholarship automatically. All right, so I've mentioned about how we rank in the top 2% worldwide for graduate employability, which is significant given there are over 35,000 universities globally. So we're very proud to be listed in the top rankings. Our employment rating in Australia is at 87%, which is also the highest in Queensland. And we're also well above the national average rating, which you can see here, which is at 69%. So this ensures that our students are in high demand, giving them better job prospects in Australia or back in their home country. We offer internships in most of our popular courses like business, IT, engineering, and work placements in nursing, as an example. Internships are usually 10 weeks and completed in your final term as well.
Regina, in the Philippines, usually when you're in college, when you're in the university, you have these on-the-job trainings. Is it the same with internship in Australia?
Yes, so it's hands-on practical experience, working within the industry, working in those companies, relevant to that program for sure.
Okay, so that means students in the call today, you will have at least some experience or immersion in the industry prior to your graduation. So that's a benefit for you, which is also being offered here in the Philippines. But of course, you'll be doing this in Australia as you complete your final term at CQU. I just want to highlight, if hindi nyo masyadong na-absorb, what is the importance of graduate employment rating here. It just simply means that you're employable when you graduate. And anybody who is graduating, of course, the next step is to move forward with a career. So you want to be attractive to the companies that you are targeting to apply or work for. So this is why we're highlighting, this is one of the things that you want to consider also, because when you graduate, naturally you want to be employed and you want to get a job, I guess, fast and have a good offer and a good career moving forward.
Yeah. And essentially that is the end goal, right? Is to
Yeah.
to get into the career that you want to get into. And yeah, have that a prospect for sure.
Okay.
So what are the course offerings at CQU? We actually have over 250 TAFE and university courses at our university. But in saying that, we have 14 study areas available. So as you can see on the slides here today. For those who are close, who are nearby your keyboard, how about you type in what courses you're interested in the chat box, just so we can get an idea of what you want to study.
My dear students, ano yung mga courses na iniisip niyong aralin? What are you interested in? I think some submitted Regina Engineering.
Yes. Yeah.
I also saw nursing, I think. I saw nursing.
Yeah, fantastic. Right. So yeah, I mean, we do have these 14 study areas within allied health, business and accounting, creative and performing arts, digital media. We have education for those who want to become teachers. We have our engineering, IT, of course. We have our Bachelor of Nursing, psychology. So there's quite a number of courses available at our university, which is great. With CQU, we are a dual sector university. So that means that we offer certificates and diploma courses in addition to our full degrees. And then later on, you may also want to consider taking up research if that's something that you'd want to do. All right.
Regina, for students who are still in senior high school here, so we already have the K-12, right? Are they able to apply directly for a bachelor's program after graduating from grade 12?
Yeah, so that's actually what I'll cover later on. But short answer, yes, that is definitely a possibility as long as they meet the minimum requirements, which I'll go over in a little bit. So we've pretty much covered the internships. I've mentioned that it does. Our internship is between 10 to 12 weeks. In most of our popular courses, so like accounting, business, engineering, information systems, IT, and management. We do have over 3,000 partners in Australia. So that's a great opportunity for all of our students to really gain a better understanding of how the Australian work culture is, as well as the practices. You gain that invaluable real world experience. And as Ms. Monette mentioned earlier, you would also get that competitive edge in the global job market as well.
And I just realized also that in Australia, because here in the Philippines, it's usually 4 years to complete a bachelor's degree. But it's just 3 years. The standard is usually 3 years. But you did mention they can finish within 2 years. They can shorten it.
Yeah, essentially, if they want to do the 3 terms per year, rather than the 2 terms, they can finish a lot sooner than 3 years. So it could just be 2 years if that's what they really want to do.
Okay, so that means students, you complete your course early, and you can start working early as well and gain world-class, career after your international studies. Okay. In case of emergency, Regina, what can students, who can they go to? I'm sure parents also would like to know about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So on to the next slide, we do have our student support services. So in terms of the international students, we do have quite a lot of international students at our university. So we have around 35,000 students across CQU with over 7,000 international students. So when it comes to the student support services, we're definitely dedicated to ensure that all of our students are supported very well throughout their studies and even after they graduate. So we've put these in different categories. So we have the welfare support, for any personal issues or anything like that that you would that you have any concerns about. We have our academic support, we have our career preparation, as well as the campus life committee. So all of that to ensure that our students are well taken care of. Life on campus, so you could be supported both academically and personally. Our academic learning center, our dedicated team who support our students academically with, for example, essay writing or presentations, things like that. They're definitely dedicated to ensure that you're on the right path with your studies and also with your assignments and tasks like that. And yeah, I mean, we do have our ongoing support with our international students from arrival right through graduation and even post-graduation, which hopefully is what you're wanting to do and experience. And Monette, did you say that you're also going to be playing a video after this?
Yes, it's actually the same video that I played earlier.
Okay, all right, sure.
Although I think nobody new came in. So
okay, we'll just skip that then in that case. So in terms of accommodation, if you are to consider studying in our metropolitan campuses, we don't have on-campus accommodation, but we are partners with the third-party providers. So we have, in terms of our partners, their dorms, student dormitories are just walking distance from all of our metropolitan campuses. So something to consider. If you are wanting to stay on campus, we do have our on-campus accommodation up in our main campus, which is in Rockhampton, or otherwise at our Mackay campus. So those are the two locations where we offer our on-campus accommodation, which is just walking distance as well from the academic buildings. In terms of the price range, it really just depends as to where you would want to study. So for example, living in the metropolitan cities, the living cost is slightly higher in comparison to going up north to Rocky or otherwise Cairns. So in terms of our on-campus accommodation, the minimum is around 210 and it goes up to $430 Australian per week. And that it does vary depending as to whether you want to have your meal included in it, and whether you want to have a private bathroom or if you want to have a shared bathroom facility. So it really just depends. Okay.
You can choose your accommodation. You're free to explore the area where you want to stay. If you have relatives in Central Queensland, of course, that would be convenient. You can stay with them, or in the process, you can find your own accommodation. Right? So you have a lot of options. Imagine it's just like living or staying in a dormitory here in the Philippines, just a little similar scenario. But I think there's a lot of independence when you start living in Australia in this case. All right. So maybe I'll play this video later, but I'll proceed.
Yeah, sure.
What are the prerequisites to enroll in a study program? So this is the interesting part. So how do you start applying at CQU?
Yeah, so in terms of the prereqs, you did ask the question as to whether we would accept the grade 12 or year 12 from the Philippines. And yes, we do. In terms of the requirement, you need to have a grade average of 75% on your high school certificate. So make sure that you have that in order to make the direct entry towards our bachelor program. If you are below the 75%, then you would then be considered for our diploma. And that is a pathway to get into our bachelor. So for example, if you want to get into the Bachelor of Business, and for any reason you don't meet the direct entry, you take up our Diploma of Business Studies. That is for 1 year. And then once you successfully complete that, you then transition to the Bachelor of Business. And in saying that, the first year of your diploma will be will give credit towards your bachelor degree. So you won't be extending your time in studying your degree. It'll still be the standard duration. Does that make sense?
Regina, they'll be entering second year?
Yes, so they'll be entering their second year.
Okay. That is if they don't meet the direct requirement. Otherwise, proceed to the first year. Okay. Great. So we're talking about just the senior high, grade 12. What about those who already have a bachelor's degree, Regina? Would you also accept them for your programs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So for those who have already completed their bachelor, then they can apply for our master's. The next step is for master's, of course. If they started their bachelor degree, so what they can do is do 1 year of their bachelor studies in the Philippines, and then they enroll to Australia or to us, and then we would then provide them that direct entry into our bachelor programs.
Okay. So either you can go for a diploma, or if you have already finished 1 year here in the Philippines in the university, you can go directly for the bachelor's program at CQU.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Are there any other requirements that they need to take note of?
Yeah, so I was going to say, in terms of the English language proficiency, now we all know that we're all very capable and proficient with our English speaking. But in saying that, it is a requirement, not just for the universities, but also when it comes to applying for a student visa, that you must provide an international English language test. So make sure that you do meet the English language requirement for your particular course. So again, as an example, I'm just giving the Bachelor of Business as an example because it's very popular for our students. So the Bachelor of Business requires an IELTS of 6.0 with no band less than 5.5. So just make sure that you meet those requirements.
For those who are not yet familiar with IELTS or the English test that you can avail, we are conducting a different information session for that, but just want to give clarification. Why do you need to take an English test? Number one, CQU did not mention any entrance exam, right? So it's really mostly providing your transcript of records from your senior high school. But because you are studying in Australia and the medium of instruction and the mode of language that they use there is, of course, in English, they just want to ensure that you'd be able to, have a comfortable and I guess you can have a good, experience in the academic community without any hurdles when it comes to the language. So that's why it's essential that you also certify yourselves that you have the right English proficiency so that you can also be, you can understand your professors, you're comfortable working with your other international student classmates or the local or the domestic students from Australia. So I'm very confident with our Filipino candidates that you're very, very good at English, but it's a cherry on top if you even have proof of your English proficiency. So watch out for that information session. Regina, can I move to the next slide?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, this is definitely one of the most asked question, which is the scholarship.
Yes.
So in terms of CQU, as I mentioned during when I first started, is that we offer the 25% scholarship to all of our international students. As I mentioned, there's no minimum GPA requirement to be given the 25%, as long as you meet the course requirements then you'll get the 25% scholarship automatically, and it will be shown on your offer letter once you submit an application. Just to give you a perspective as to how much it costs in pesos, there is a chart here on the bottom. So the Bachelor of Business, our standard fee per year at the moment is 33,360 Australian dollars, which is approximately 1.2 million pesos. With the 25% scholarship, your tuition fees per year will then be reduced down. So you could see here, it's around the 900,000 pesos in that regard. So you'll be saving quite a lot per year if you were to consider studying with us. When you do look at the comparison with our counterparts, you will identify that where CQU is one of the more affordable universities in Australia.
Right. So I think, yes, this is very competitive. Students take advantage of this scholarship. There's not very many requirements to achieve the scholarship. So it's really submitting an application first to begin with. I'll just highlight for anybody in the call or who's watching, there is also a scholarship applicable for a master's program such as an MBA. Okay. So I'll move on to the next. More scholarships.
Yeah, so we have the government scholarship. So this is an initiative and funded by the Australian government for the international students who are wanting to study at a regional location. So in terms of the Destination Australia scholarship, it's worth up to $15,000 per year. So 15,000 Australian dollars per year. Now, to be eligible, you'd need to write 500 words statement addressing the question as to how would a Destination Australia scholarship assist with your studies. So in terms of this, the applicants are assessed on a competitive basis, and you must maintain a satisfactory academic progress once you get the scholarship. This scholarship, as I mentioned, is only available for students who are wanting to study at a regional location. So Rockhampton, as an example. It can be given to students who want to study a bachelor, a master's, or otherwise research. So something to consider if you were to want to be eligible for the Destination Australia scholarship. And because this is funded by the Australian government, this is in addition to CQU's 25% scholarship, right? So you'll get the $15,000 per year from the government, plus the 25% international student scholarship of CQU. So you're practically not paying a lot if you are awarded the Destination Australia.
Very nice. Yes. At least they don't have to choose. They can get both. They can
That's
target.
it. Yeah. And usually with many institutions, it's either you have to choose one or the other,
Yeah.
right? But with this, no, it's both scholarships if you were to apply at a regional campus.
And it's for all levels, undergraduate, for the bachelor's, for the master's program, the research. Wonderful. Okay. Good to know. Thank you for this. How much money? Okay. This one, I think I'll cover for this one, Regina, for a while.
No worries. Yep, go ahead.
Most importantly, how much money do we need to prepare to study? Essentially, even in the Philippines, you also need to prepare for your studies. It's the same thing, even if you're studying abroad. I guess I want to highlight this one because you are not going to be in your home country. You won't have your own house to live in. So I want to be transparent that yes, there are extra expenses that you need to be prepared for. So not you, the student yourselves, but probably your parents or whoever will be helping fund your studies. So before I move to the next slide, I just want to highlight also that I want to emphasize a kind of mindset that we should be also looking at. You are all young. So within these two pictures, I have picture A on the top and then picture B at the bottom. Just have a quick second. Which one do you think is smarter long term? I guess this, for this image, of course, this is in relation to getting access to water. So if you could share in the chat box, if you're happy to type in, which one do you think is, smarter long term? Is it picture A with a pail to get water, or picture B with a water pipeline? So if you're shy, that's okay. But I hope everyone is choosing the same with what we think, which is picture B, the water pipeline. So what I'm trying to point here is long term, there's no easy way for everything in life. But if you want a long-term, smarter way of having a better career for yourselves, you start with investing with your education. And in the same way in this photo, they started to invest with getting materials for a water pipeline. Probably they researched how they could access more water easily and faster without less work, less people doing the labor. So I think in relation to education, it's the same. And it's because you want to have a better opportunity career-wise and expanding your network of getting work within the Philippines or even internationally. So to answer the question, there is an evidence of financial capacity that you should be ready to demonstrate. And I have here a quick sample expenses for 1 year. So you will be an international student. Definitely there is an expense. And my example is for a 1 year for a Bachelor of Business, since we've been talking about Bachelor of Business, noting that this is only for 3 years. It can be 2 years. It depends if you're making use of the 3 terms of CQU. But for the living expense, this is not mandated by us. This is by the Department of Home Affairs of Australia. And they believe that as a single applicant, an international student must have access to at least 24,505 annually. And this should cover your accommodation. This is the place where you'll be living, your rent, your food, whether you eat at a restaurant or on campus, having coffee at your favorite coffee shop, for transportation to get to your campus, or to get to other places, to get to your work part-time, utilities, the usual for your living expense. And for the first year tuition, as mentioned earlier, this is still going to be reduced with scholarships that you can get. But this is part of what you should be preparing for. And lastly, I'll highlight the importance of getting a student health cover, simply insurance. Obviously, you won't be here in the Philippines. You'll be in Australia to study. And there may be some times that you're under the weather. At least you have some access to a coverage that can, support you financially just in case. You may fall in sick, have a flu or something. So your parents won't be worrying so much that nobody's looking after you. At least you have this extra layer of coverage for your health needs. Okay, so these are important things that you should be ready for. So for the parents who would be watching this or who's in the call, I hope you take note of this. And we're happy to expand more conversations about this during a one-on-one consultation, so we can talk more about this. But at least now I've also pinned the website where you can get more information about this. So yeah, and by the way, I'll just highlight also that the living expense might be a little bit, probably not what you're expecting at the moment, but this is the standard. So it does not necessarily mean that you'll be really spending this much. So it would still depend on what kind of lifestyle you're having, what kind of food choices, what restaurants you're going to, or do you cook your meal or do you buy it outside? So these are things that could affect what would be the actual expense that you'll be spending or shelling out in reality. But for your comfortable student experience, please have this ready. Okay, I'm just going to be very transparent because I want everyone to be ready when they are in Australia, when they are studying. Okay. But on top of that, I'll also highlight that as a student, you do have this part-time work right. So you can work part-time. Note that you are a full-time student, but you can work part-time. Now, why is this possible? I think we haven't covered, but because during your studies, you're not necessarily going to the campus 5 days a week. So there is like this work balance, study work balance that you can manage, and you can still squeeze in some part-time opportunity if you would like. So this is not required, but if you would like to gain work experience, to network with people and network with other international students who are also doing part-time work, I think this is a very good opportunity to earn. Maybe use this for your additional, I guess, entertainment finances. So yes, for international students, you can work 24 hours per week. And if it's every 2 weeks, that's 48 hours. So that's the fortnight. Fortnight means 14 days starting on a Monday. Okay, so this is something that, you can add up to your list of what you can do apart from studying full time. So I hope this brings light, and this also, gives you a little bit of, positivity. I think it's a very nice eligibility to award to international students from Australia. So you can take advantage of this. And when you're on a term break, for example, usually you have a semestral break in the Philippines, right? So you also have this in Australia. You can work with full time. So you're not limited to 24 hours per week. So if you have, like, let's say 4 weeks of vacation from school, you are on a term break. You can maximize this if you would like. You can even come home to the Philippines if you would like. Just make sure you return to commence the next term and then go back to 24 hours per week, because your course commencement actually dictates the 24 hours per week eligibility. All right. Regina, did you want to add anything else, or can I move?
Yeah, well, I was just going to mention that's why many of our international students just take up the 2 terms per year. So the March and July intake, because they take November term off as a holiday, as a semester break. And like you said, like a lot of the international students would then use that time to be able to work full time for 3 months, and get some pocket money during that period before they commence again in the following term.
Right. And you can also travel within the other states in Australia during your term breaks. All right. So there's time for you to do also some leisure. But if you'd like to work, also your option. If you want to continue studying, also your option. All right. So I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, I think I'm handing this over to you, Regina.
Thank you. So in terms of our graduate guarantee, this is the first of its kind in Australia. So with CQU, because we are ranked in the top 2% for graduate employability in the world, we're so confident that our CQU graduates will be able to find a job within the first 6 months of them completing their studies. If for any reason that any of our students don't find a job after 6 months of graduating, you can then enroll in our graduate certificate in leadership and entrepreneurship at no cost. This is usually valued at nearly 7,000 Australian dollars, but we will give this graduate certificate to you for free. So we're that confident that our students will be able to find employment even before they graduate. Actually, we do get quite a number of our students getting offered jobs in that regard. Now, the benefit of having or doing this graduate certificate is that if you do want to do further studies in the future, say a Master's of Business or even an MBA, then your graduate certificate will be credited towards your master's degree. So that means you can save on costs and you can save on time completing your master's. So that's also something to think about. And again, we're the only university in Australia offering this type of initiative for our students.
Great. Thank you, Regina. So let's take note of this special offer only from CQU, the Graduate Guarantee.
Okay.
All right. I'm currently undecided about studying in Australia, which most students are probably here in the call, have the same thought. Are there any programs that I can pursue while I'm still in the Philippines?
Alrighty. So, to my understanding, a lot of our viewers here are still in high school. So, in terms of what we can offer to current high school students, is what we call our Start Uni Now program. Now, with the Start Uni Now, also called the SUN, this is a program for years 10 right up to year 12 students who want to experience as to what it would be like to study at CQU. So what you would do is that you would apply and enroll in one university unit at CQU for free. So this is something that we're offering to our international students who are still in high school and want to gain somewhat of a university experience even before they finish their high school. So as I mentioned, the first unit is free. You can get a head start with your study and also your future career, considering that you'll take that one unit off towards your bachelor program. With this Start Uni Now course, it's 100% online. So you would consider this as an extracurricular activity while you're in high school. So you would be studying after hours or after school, and it's more of a self-learning type of course program that you'll be taking. The lectures are usually recorded, but in saying that, you'd also get the chance to speak to the actual academics of that unit and also the tutors. So that way they'd be able to guide you as to what you need to do, or if you have any questions about it, they'll be there to support you. The benefit of also enrolling into this SUN program is that you'll have full access to CQU's resources and full access to our student support services like any normal CQU student. So you really do get that head start to get an understanding as to how CQU operates.
Wonderful. I hope I was still in grade school so I can enroll in this program.
Me too. We didn't get this back in the day.
Imagine you are here in the Philippines, you're learning from the academics of Central Queensland University, which is the same academics or teachers that the international students are learning from on campus. And it's absolutely free. So what a beautiful offering. All right. So I hope that excites you even more, guys. Can you talk about the study schedules? Do we have a slide for this one? Let me just check.
The study schedule. So in terms of, maybe I'll do the SUN program first. In terms of the SUN program for the high school students, we advise students to leave at least 10 to 12 hours per week to be able to study your units and also do your assignments and things like that. Once you become a full-time CQU student, the class times aren't Monday to Fridays. As Ms. Monette mentioned earlier, it's not a Monday to Friday thing. So it really just depends as to which units you choose and when the academic chooses to make it available. If you're lucky, you might have all of your classes on a Monday and Tuesday, and then you get Monday right through to Friday off, and just do, anything that you want during the rest of the week. But yeah, so it really just depends on the schedules in that regard. We usually say per unit. For the lectures, it takes about 2 hours. For the tutorials, it could take 1 to 2 hours as well. So just depending as to how your academic wants to sort out your unit. Yeah, so just something to think about. In terms of the term dates, as I mentioned earlier, we do have the 3 terms. So we have the March and July as the compulsory terms, and then the November term is optional. As I mentioned before, like it's mainly for the students who want to fast track and finish their degree a lot sooner, or if you do want to start a little bit later, then that's fine as well. So you have that November option. But keep in mind, not all of our courses will be available in every intake. So what I would suggest for you to do is to reach out to Bada and then just let them know as to which course you're interested in, and they will be able to assist you. Otherwise, go onto our website and then you'll be able to see as to when the course will be available.
Okay. If there's anybody graduating anytime soon from grade 12, I want to say the next term that you can still target would be the term 2, which is July. So essentially you need to have your English test ready, your proof of proficiency, and also your grades from grade 11 and 12 from your school. So you'll be getting this or requesting this from your high school. If not, the next one will be for November. Okay. All right. Who is this beautiful gentleman?
This lovely gentleman came from the Philippines. So he's studying the Bachelor of IT co-op. Now, I put co-op here because there's a difference. We have the Bachelor of IT and then we have the Bachelor of IT co-op. With the co-op, it's actually a paid internship. Whereas with the Bachelor of IT, it's an unpaid one. So there is a requirement, of course, a higher requirement when it comes to applying for the paid internship. But that is something that we can further discuss offline. So this is just a student testimonial by one of our students, Ronald. And what he said, let me just read it to you. As part of my placement in the data management team, my activities consist of programming, analyzing, and testing. My confidence has improved, and I'm learning new programming skills every day. This opportunity has given me the advantage of learning different skill sets from industry professionals, and CQU has provided me with the support I need to reach my goal. So it's a very lovely student testimonial from one of our Filipino students. And again, in terms of the student support services that we offer, we are very dedicated to ensure that our students always come first and that our students become job ready and be in high demand for all employers.
Yes, this is what makes them more employable and attractive. You're desirable. You know, the moment you graduate, or even before graduating, you could already have an employer ready, right? So
that's
amazing. Is Aronel already a graduate, or he's still finishing?
Yes, he's already he's a recent graduate, which is great.
All right. Oh, so that's the last of our list of questions. I think I just want to we're almost running out of time actually, but if there's any questions that you want to ask now, you can type in. There is one question that you already answered, Regina. Radiologic technician. Yes, okay. So Rebby, if you might also want to consider other programs, feel free to visit the website of CQU. There may be other programs that might interest you, but yes, happy to discuss this further. So it looks like we've answered the question. Is that it? Anything else? Wow. Maybe you're discussing very well, Regina. They have no questions at the moment.
Clearly, right?
All right. So I think I will wrap this up for now because as promised, this is only until 6 o'clock. But I don't want our conversation to end here. But for now, I would like to thank you all for joining. Education can be for everyone with Central Queensland University. Please visit their website, www.cqu.edu.au. Very easy to remember. And us for us, Bada Philippines, you're more than welcome to reach out and let's plan your studies, even if you're still in grade 11 or 12. I think this is the best time to actually start exploring it so that by the time you're applying, you're pretty much set and ready to submit your documentations. And everything is all set and you can start on time. I mean, start your application on time and receive your visa on time. So please note that this is an international student application. So it starts with an application with your school at CQU, and then of course followed by the student visa, which is all going to be facilitated and done by us, your trusted agent, Bada Education Philippines. So you can scan the QR code, or for now, you can also follow us on Facebook at Bada Philippines. Send us an email, philippines@badaedu.com. So we have your contact details and we are happy to share the recording of this session. Feel free to share this with your friends, your parents, or review this as much as you want. Yeah. Anything else, Regina, before I officially end?
No, I just wanted to say that we hope this session has provided everybody the information that they needed. But then again, if there are any questions, please do reach out to Bada. We'll be more than happy to assist. So thank you.
Lovely. Thank you also very much, Regina, for your time. I know it's, what time is it there now? It's much later, I think. In your
Past 8.
Past 8. Okay, you can probably have dinner now.
Oh, no, it's all good. All good.
Regina, for your time, we hope to have you again for our next information session for the next round of students. And I'm officially ending our meeting. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.